put together by the Federal Road Safety Corps. Today's lecture is themed Road Safety Management, Emerging Transportation Trends, Global Partnership for Optimal Performance. I'd like to welcome you to this lecture series. A special guest of honor will be here shortly, so would like to encourage you to please take your seats in readiness for today's order of events. We already have in the hall quite a number of the dignitaries who are attending today's lecture. I'd like to acknowledge your presence here. We're still updating the list of the various dignitaries who are attending today's lecture. But suffice it to say that among those who have arrived, and I can see him taking a seat, is the Royal Father of the Day, Ambassador Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, CFR, the Emir of Zazzau. He's joined us here already. I'd like to acknowledge his presence and welcome him to this lecture, today's lecture, the 8th in the series. I know that among those who will be attending today's lecture are senior administration officials. Some of them are already in. We'll acknowledge their presence here. Among them also, representatives of state chief executives, also here with us, representatives of the heads of the military services. The guest lecturer is already with us and will soon be making his way into the hall. And of course, as you're aware, there'll be a brief discussion, and we'd like to report that all discussants or their representatives are on ground. The FRSC has ensured that all who are concerned with today's lecture are either on ground personally or represented in high capacity. Let me also acknowledge that the President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Monica Dongba Mensam, has also been represented here by the Honorable Justice Olubumi Uyewale of the Court of Appeal, Enugu Division. He's already here with us. Acknowledge his presence. So also is one of our discussants at today's event, the Vice Chancellor of the Yakubu Gowon University, Professor Matthew Adamu, has joined us, along with other discussants who will be spending some 5 to 8 minutes to dissect the theme of today's lecture. Of course, The guest lecturer himself is already in-house and is with us here. The Federal Road Safety Corps has since its establishment been in the forefront of ensuring safety on the roads. And while the Corps personnel are busy with the business of ensuring that our roads are safer and we are safer, they are being kept in good stead by their spouses who ensure that they give of their best. And it is with that in mind, I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the president of the Road Safety Officers' Wives Association, who's also joined us here, Dr. Nafisa Shehu. Thank you very much. We'd just like to note that in a few moments, this event will get underway because His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, will be walking into the hall in a moment from now. So we'd once again appeal to all those who are in the hall to take the appropriate seats in readiness for the commencement of this event. Ladies and gentlemen, may we rise as we receive the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON. The National Anthem. Thank you very much. You may be seated. Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON. Your Excellency, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, UN, who arrived along with His Excellency the Vice President. Let me do a brief rundown, Your Excellencies, to acknowledge the presence here of our very distinguished guests. The President of the Court of Appeal, the Honorable Justice Monica Dongba Mensam, who is represented by Honorable Justice Olubumi Oyewole. Let me use the presence here of the Honorable Minister of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Olatubosun Tijani, as a contact to acknowledge the presence here of other members of the Federal Cabinet, the National Security Advisor, the Chairman of the House Committee on FRSC, as well as the Deputy Chairman of the House Committee, representatives of other ministers here present, as well as the representative of the Chief of Defense Staff and representatives of the service chiefs, the Executive Director of the FIA Foundation, Saul Billingsley, who will be delivering today's lecture. Let me acknowledge here the discussants, among them Vice Chancellor of the Yakubu Gowon University, the Chancellor of the Athena Foundation, who is the moderator of today's discussion, and at one time Chief Executive and Corps Marshal of the FRSC. Our Royal Father of the Day, Ambassador Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, CFR, the Emir of Zazzau. Representatives of ministries, departments, and agencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this is the 8th annual lecture series put together by the Federal Road Safety Corps. Safety on the roads encompasses safe practices designed to prevent fatalities and serious injuries from road traffic accidents. And these practices are all inclusive, cutting across behavior, road designs, safe vehicles, and many others. The statistics used to be extreme in Nigeria until the establishment of the Federal Road Safety Corps more than 3 decades ago. Since then, it has been leading the charge to make Nigerian roads safe. Today, it is regarded as the best road safety agency in Africa. The theme of today's lecture, Road Safety Management and Emerging Transportation Trends, Global Partnerships for Optimal Performance. And at this point, let me invite the Corps Marshal of the FRSC to now come forward and officially welcome you to this lecture series. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, let's put our hands together as I invite Shehu Muhammad Eminai, Corps Marshal of the FRSC.
Your Excellency, the Nigerian Vice President, Senator Kashim Shettima, Your Excellency, a couple of months ago, we carefully planned this event with you in mind, being the chairman of National Road Safety Advisory Council, to be the special guest of honor to this very special occasion. Your Excellency, we're glad, we're happy, we're honored, and we appreciate your presence in person. Thank you, Your Excellency. Your Excellency, the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, CON, the overall supervisor to the Federal Safety Corps, and my overall boss. Honorable Justice Monica Damba-Mensah, President Court of Appeal, Nigeria, ably represented by Honorable Justice Olubimi Oyewole of Court of Appeal, Enugu Division. Your Excellency, the Deputy Governor of Enugu State, Mr. Ifeanyi Osai, representing His Excellency, the Governor of Enugu State. Federal ministers here present, my brother, Minister of Interior, my good brother, Minister of Transport, senators of the Federal Republic here present, House of Representative members. I can cite the Deputy Chairman of the House of Rep Committee on Road Safety, Honorable Mansour Musa Jega, former Deputy Governor of Kano State, my brother, Dr. Nasir Yusuf Gawuna, also the Chairman, Board, Federal Mortgage Bank. My royal father of the day, the Emir of Zazzau, Ambassador Malan Ahmed Nubamali, whom the invitation just reached him 2 days ago. And he traveled from Zaria to Abuja yesterday by road, and today he's here with us. Thank you, my father, for honoring your son. The president of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mazi Afam Osube, SAN, the heads of various security agencies and paramilitary here present. I can see my good friend, the Comptroller General of Correctional, the representative of the Chief of Defense Staff, former co-marshals of Federal Safety Corps. I can cite my daddy, the elder statesman, General Haldu Anthony Hanania. I can also cite Chief Osita Chidoka, who initiated this lecture series in 2009 and brought FRSC into the global space. I've not forgotten my wife, the president of Road Safety Wives Association, Malama Nafisa Tusheo Mohammed, and her members here present. Various distinguished guests here seated that are too numerous to mention. The time will not permit me to mention all. Gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. It is my pleasure to welcome you to this edition of the 8th Federal Road Safety Corps Annual Lecture Series. Your presence at this auspicious occasion is a testimony of your commitment to ensuring the safety of lives and properties in the road transport subsector. It is indeed gratifying and honor to have such great personalities gracing this occasion. I therefore wish to welcome the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON. Sir, we appreciate your presence despite your tight schedules. Let me equally inform this gathering, though informally, that His Excellency added yet another year, another milestone to his age as he celebrated his birthday barely 24 hours ago. That was yesterday. Your Excellency, congratulations once again. Let me especially welcome the guest lecturer, the Executive Director of the FRA Foundation London, United Kingdom, my August visitor in barely 2 days into September. Mr. Saul Billingsley will deliver a lecture on the topic Road Safety Management and Emerging Transportation Trends, Global Partnership and Optimal Performance. I wish to also acknowledge and welcome other distinguished guests who deemed it important to be part of this special occasion. The Federal Road Safety Corps has adopted the annual lecture series as a platform to create awareness on the recurrent issues on road crashes as a major global public health challenge requiring urgent attention and action. The purpose of the lecture series is to share experiences and provide fresh perspectives on road safety management in Nigeria. The maiden edition of the annual lectures was organized in the year 2009 with the theme Sustainable Development and Road Safety. The successes of the first lecture series motivated the Corps to adopt the lecture series as a yearly platform to canvass support and create massive awareness on the challenges posed by road crashes, especially against the emerging trend on global road transport system. Although the last annual lecture was held in the year 2017, the decision to resuscitate the lecture series in the year 2025 is hinged on the need to utilize global partnership as leverage to domesticate global best practices as remedial action on the road safety issues in Nigeria and in Africa as a whole. Bearing in mind, Nigeria is the secretariat of African Road Safety Lead Agency. It is also in line with the objectives of the renewed hope agenda of Mr. President on sustainable transportation and promotion of public health for the Nigerian citizens. The theme of this year's lecture was chosen as a deliberate guide to ensure that deliberation would profile solutions to the challenges of emerging trends in global road transportation. The theme was also carefully selected to align with the United Nations Assembly resolution for Africa to implement measures that could reduce road crash fatalities and injuries by half by the year 2030. Despite significant effort by Federal Safety Corps to create awareness through legislation, policy enforcement, advocacy, and public enlightenment campaign, current data on road crashes reveal a yearly average of about 6,000 persons killed and 31,000 persons injured annually. These figures underscore the need for the Corps to do more in harnessing both human and material resources towards implementing the National Road Safety Development Plan, as captured in the Nigerian Road Safety Strategy document. As we're all aware, the Nigerian Road Safety Strategy document was developed as a blueprint for a successful implementation of the National Road Safety Development Plan. The Nigerian Road Safety Strategy seeks to harness collaborative effort of road safety stakeholders from subnational to national level to holistically implement the blueprint for sustainable road transport safety management in Nigeria. I have a strong conviction and belief that resolution emanating from this lecture series could provide critical insight towards achieving this objective. Furthermore, the National Road Safety Advisory Council, NASAC, which is chaired by the Vice President, is expected to galvanize all relevant departments and agencies at both national and subnational levels to operate within specified responsibilities as outlined in the Nigeria Road Safety Strategy document. Through this medium, the National Road Safety Advisory Council could foster a strong and effective partnership across all sectors involving government, business entities, civil society organizations, and individuals for a goal-oriented approach to achieving the objectives of the Nigeria Road Safety Strategy. At this juncture, I wish to appreciate government and concerned individuals for their consistent support for our programs through improved funding and strengthening of our institutional framework. No doubt, Federal Road Safety Code Amendment Bill, which is awaiting concurrence by the Senate, will strengthen the needed legislation for the enforcement of road traffic laws and regulations. Indeed, it will also provide the needed motivation in terms of welfare and security of FRSC personnel that will positively impact on FRSC productivity in service delivery. In conclusion, Your Excellency, Your Highness, and distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish to assure us all that the resolution emerging from today's consultation will catalyze into formidable road safety policies that will lead to positive behavioral changes in our driving culture and attitude. Thus far, we can effectively bequeath an enduring road safety legacy for our nation. On this note, Your Excellency, I wish to once again welcome you to the 8th Federal Road Safety Corps Annual Lecture Series. Thank you for listening, and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Corps Marshal Shehu Mohammed Eminai, welcome you all to this 8th Annual Lecture Series. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Senator George Akume, CON, is the Secretary to the Government of the Federation. When I invite him to deliver his message on this occasion, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima, JCON, and Chairman, National Road Safety Advisory Council. My Lord Justice Monica Dongben Manson, President Court of Appeal, ably represented. Members of the National Assembly here present, Honorable Ministers, the Deputy Governor of Enugu State, the Corps Marshal, Shehu Mohammed, former Corps Marshals, the guest speaker, Mr. Paul Billingsley, the Executive Director, Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile, FIA, Foundation, London, the Royal Father of the Day, His Excellency, the Emir of Zazzau, Ambassador Nuhu Bamali, senior management of the Corps, invited guests, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I join you this morning for the 8th edition of the Federal Road Safety Corps Annual Lecture Series. This lecture has grown into a flagship platform for dialogue, innovation, and knowledge sharing on road safety and transportation. I commend the Federal Road Safety Corps leadership for sustaining this important tradition and applaud our partners and stakeholders for their consistent support. The theme for today's lecture, Road Safety Management and Emerging Transportation Trends, Global Partnership for Optimal Performance, is both timely and relevant. This is largely due to the fact that around the world, transportation is being reshaped by electric vehicles, artificial intelligence, smart traffic systems, and digital logistics platforms. At the same time, Nigeria faces the deadly reality of urbanization, increasing vehicle density and road crashes that claim lives and weaken our economy. This theme, therefore, calls us to act on two fronts. One, to embrace new global trends and partnerships. And two, to strengthen our local systems to protect the lives of our people. I must admit that road crashes in Nigeria are not just statistics. They are human tragedies. Each accident is the story of a family broken, a future cut short, and a community affected. Government recognizes that road safety is not merely a transport issue, but a national development priority. Safe mobility drives productivity, facilitates trade, protects human capital, as well as promotes social well-being. In this state, the Federal Road Safety Commission the Federal Road Safety Corps deserves recognition for its tireless work in enforcement, sensitization, and post-crash response. But much remains to be done, and government is committed to doing more. Permit me at this juncture to highlight some of the federal government's ongoing efforts, which include, among others, one, investing in the rehabilitation and expansion of road infrastructure nationwide, deploying ICT-driven solutions, such as traffic monitoring systems, automated licensing, number plate recognition, and crash data analytics. 3, expanding digital platforms for transport services and enforcement. 4, strengthening emergency response systems, integrating road safety into a national health strategy. 5, supporting Federal Road Safety Corps with capacity building, technology adoption, and interagency coordination. These interventions are designed to build a safer, smarter, more reliable transport system for Nigeria. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, road safety is not a challenge that Nigeria can tackle alone. It is a shared global responsibility Nigeria is aligned with the United Nations Decade of Action for Road Safety, 2021 to 2030, and the Sustainable Development Goals, which aims to halve global road deaths and injuries. We continue to work closely with the World Health Organization, the World Bank, United Nations agencies, regional bodies, and bilateral partners. These partnerships are critical. They provide technical expertise, financial support, and best practices that enrich our national strategies. Looking ahead, Nigeria must prepare for the future of transportation. Key trends include electric and clean energy mobility to address sustainability and climate change. 2, smart transportation system powered by artificial intelligence and big data. 3, the rise of ride sharing, e-commerce logistics, and urban mobility innovations. And 4, the need for sustainable and climate resilient transport infrastructure. Our task, therefore, is to create the enabling environment for these trends to take root, while ensuring safety, security, and efficiency. The responsibility for safer roads rests on all of us. Let us embrace innovation and technology to drive progress. Let us promote behavioral change campaigns so that every road user adopts a culture of safety. Let us commit to research, training, and human capital development in road transport management. And let us strengthen partnerships nationally and globally for shared learning and collective action. As I conclude, I reaffirm the unwavering commitment of government to supporting the FRSC and all stakeholders in our shared mission for safer roads. Let the discussions of today go beyond words. Let them produce concrete, actionable outcomes that will save lives, strengthen partnerships, and position Nigeria's transport sector for global competitiveness. Together we can and must ensure that our roads are not places of tragedy, but avenues of connection, commerce, and development. I thank you all, and I wish us fruitful deliberations. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so very much, Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume, CON. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, it's now time to sit back and listen to the 8th annual lecture, which will be delivered by Mr. Saul Billingsley, Executive Director, FIA Foundation. May I request that Mr. Billingsley be upstanding as we take his brief bio. Thank you very much. Right. Thank you. Saul Billingsley is the Executive Director of the FIA Foundation and has led the organization since 2013. Prior to his emergence as the Executive Director of the FIA, he served as Deputy Director 2004 to 2013 and Programs Director 2001 to 2004. Now, the FIA Foundation is an independent UK charity established by the Fédération Internationale de l'Automobile, focused on promoting safe and sustainable mobility. Mr. Saul has served in numerous influential roles and boards, including trustee of the International Road Assessment Program, steering committee member of the UN Road Safety Fund, board member of Safe Kids Worldwide, member of the Global Road Safety Partnership, Executive Committee, trustee of the UK Road Safety Foundation, board member IRA, UN Road Safety Fund, Safe Kids Worldwide, GRSP, UK Road Safety Foundation, policy director FIA Brussels, campaigns manager RAC political assistant. Saul Billingsley served on the executive committee of GRSP from 2007 to 2013, illustrating his leadership role in guiding the partnership's direction during those years. Beyond his involvement with GRSP, Saul Billingsley has played significant roles in several global road safety initiatives. He was co-chair of the Road Safety Fund, an initiative jointly established by the FIA Foundation and the World Health Organization, and served as its founding director from 2010 to 2014. Advocate for Sustainable Development Goals inclusion, Billingsley was instrumental in securing the inclusion of road safety targets in the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, recognizing road safety as a global development priority. Early career and achievements. Prior to joining the FIA Foundation, his career included Director of Policy at the Brussels office, Campaigns Manager, and Political Assistant for Labour MPs in the UK Parliament. As Deputy Director, he co-developed the influential Make Roads Safe campaign, which contributed to launching the first UN Decade of Action for Road Safety. His academic background includes a degree in history from Newcastle University and a postgraduate diploma in journalism from Cardiff University. Your Excellency, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I give you the lecturer, Mr. Saul Billingsley.
Thank you very much for that introduction. Good morning, everybody. His Excellency, Senator Kashim Shettima, Vice President, His Excellency, Senator George Akume, Secretary of the Government, distinguished Transport Minister Ahmed Haikani, distinguished ministers, ladies and gentlemen, the Royal Father of the Day, and finally, last but not least, of course, Corps Marshal Shemu Mohammed. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my great pleasure to be here, all protocols observed. It really is a great honor and pleasure to deliver this lecture. It's an honor because the activities of the Federal Road Safety Corps are recognized across the world. Your leadership is really well appreciated, both in domestic policy, and we've been hearing this morning of some of the activities that you've been undertaking and the policies you've been undertaking in Nigeria, which are well recognized across the world, but also as a key player in the global road safety community. And I remember 15, 20 years ago working with Osita Chidoka and the FRSC when we were really getting the global road safety movement started, and Nigeria was at the forefront of that. So it's really a great pleasure to be here. As a high-profile and well-resourced lead agency for road safety, the Corps provides an institutional model for other countries seeking to improve their road safety performance. This is particularly important for countries in Africa, where... Is this going to work? Yeah. Where many indicators are trending in the wrong direction. According to the most recent World Health Organization analysis, Africa is the only world region Africa is the only world region where in recent years it's experienced an increase in road traffic deaths, up by 10% between 2018 and 2021. And I know that in Nigeria, I think the performance has been better than that, but across the continent as a whole, up by 10%, and it's only going to increase. You'll know better than me the causes of these casualties, and as some of you are first responders, you will have seen up close the appalling human cost. What is clear is that Africa is, sorry, there's a bit of a lag on these slides. There we go. What is clear is that Africa is currently experiencing the same correlation of rising fatalities with increasing motorization that every part of the world has gone through. The challenge is how to decouple sustainable mobility from violent injury or death. Across the world, the countries which achieve the best road safety performance are those which adopt a version of the safe system approach, even if they haven't explicitly embraced the goal of Vision Zero. Focusing on the way the road system is designed and operated, rather than just taking the traditional approach of solely blaming road users for their misbehavior, reaps dividends. It restores responsibility and accountability to where it belongs. Let me provide an extreme example of what happens when it goes wrong. This is a story from the New York Times just last month. It describes how the state of North Carolina is prosecuting Samuel and Jessica Jenkins after their 7-year-old son was killed. What was their crime? They allowed their sons, Legend, their 7-year-old, and Brandon, 10, to walk unaccompanied from their home to the grocery store, a 10-minute journey in their neighborhood. Legend was hit and killed by a woman driving an SUV. For this, the parents were charged with involuntary manslaughter. Not the driver, not the planners who designed a city where children can't walk near their home without supervision, not the engineers and traffic managers responsible for the road layout, for the absence of safe pedestrian facilities, for the speed limits. No, the parents were apparently solely to blame. At the FIA Foundation, we begin from the premise that children should be able to walk safely in their neighborhood streets. It's important for their independent development, for tackling obesity, and improving mental health. A street safe to walk is more likely to be safe in other ways. The presence of people discourages crime and antisocial behavior, what the urbanist Jane Jacobs described as eyes on the street. Parents are responsible for their children, of course, but the primary responsibility for the safety of the road network lies with government. People often focus on the technical elements of the safe system and forget the ethical dimension. But for the architects of Vision Zero, ethics were at the heart of the argument. The Tillerson Declaration, sponsored by the Swedish government in 2008 and endorsed by many road safety experts, states that everyone has the right to use roads and streets without threat to life or health. And this is not just some esoteric Scandinavian opinion. In the declaration of the Marrakesh Ministerial Conference that was held last February, signatories, which included ministers from across the world, agreed, quote, to recognize the right of every individual to mobility options that are safe, accessible, and sustainable. So if we're to successfully tackle road danger, we must begin from the premise of rights and get right the balance of rights. The priority for most of the last 100 years has been the rights of the car, exemplified by this influential statement from a US car lobbyist in 1925. Pedestrians must be educated to know that automobiles have rights. And over the next 100 years, in countries across the world, we've seen how that prioritization of just the car has turned out. Now, we must invert the pyramid and prioritize the rights of the most vulnerable. Ask first, how do we remove harms from pedestrians children, and the elderly, from cyclists and motorcyclists. Then address the safety of motorists and truck drivers. A safe system works in this way to ensure that each road user's right to safety is accommodated. It's a response to the challenge of how we ensure the independence of a child pedestrian while maintaining the benefits of the independence provided by the car. It's a response based on a shift from vehicle-centered policy to people-centered policy, a long overdue rebalancing. Let me provide some practical examples of how people-centered policy is improving road traffic safety. And I would argue that people-centered policy is at least as innovative and important a trend as any of the new e-mobility and big data and AI developments that are happening. At the macro financing level, the government of Tanzania and the World Bank are implementing the RISE project, Roads to Inclusion and Socioeconomic Opportunities, a $300 million rural roads upgrade which is placing local communities at its core. This is achieved through enhanced consultation at every stage to ensure that the needs of female pedestrians, who are the majority road user, children, and other often excluded voices have equal or greater weight than the traditional emphasis placed on traffic volume and journey times. Per kilometre, the project is more expensive to deliver than a traditional approach. But the motivation is to load some extra cost at the front end in order to avoid greater unnecessary, tragic, and I would argue immoral cost in increased road traffic trauma and death later. In this way, a people-centered approach, because it requires a focus on human impact, can expose false economies. As you will know, and you've seen across the continent of Africa, the explosion in motorcycle use is fueling a rise in powered two-wheeler deaths and injuries. Fatalities have doubled since 2013 in Africa, and across the world they're now 30% of the global total. But beneath headline numbers, there's often little granular data available capturing the reality of what is occurring on the roads. The Kenyan Helmet Wearing Coalition, which we support, undertook a study of motorcycle deaths and injuries in the country, examining some key roads in and around Nairobi, surveying helmet use. It took a deep dive into 2 Nairobi hospitals to get a sense of the health burden and the immense costs these impose, which are far beyond the surface costs of the road crash and it can cover many, many months of care. We need more of this kind of analysis to make the economic case for action to government and within government, to encourage them to implement the kind of policies that are proven to drive down casualties. In terms of motorcycles, that begins with helmet quality standards and laws requiring helmet use. The latest WHO status report shows there are many countries which don't meet recommended policy levels, often corresponding to where two-wheeler use is increasing most rapidly. We often find that where there are helmet standards on the books, they're just lines of words on a page, ignored and not enforced. Requiring and enforcing standardized motorcycle helmets is one of the proven ways to cut the injury burden. The FIA Foundation has helped to establish the Safe African Helmets Initiative, or SAHI, and I was delighted that we had representatives from Nigeria at the recent meeting. We are working with several governments to encourage adoption of stronger helmet standards, with testing capacity to look at the issues of affordable supply and to promote stronger enforcement. And here in Rwanda, you can see in the photo, together with the UN Road Safety Fund and UNECA, we've supported the first independent helmet test centre in Africa. Kenya is also looking to establish a test centre of its own. Homegrown, high-quality helmet factories are urgently needed to ensure standards are met and to reduce import cost. These are the types of actions that can benefit from regional collaboration, co-funding, and pooling of political direction and human resources. A final example of people-centered collaboration brings us full circle back to the rights of children. Safe Schools Africa is a collaboration led by the NGO Amend, which is based in Tanzania and Ghana, but is working across about 9 African countries at the moment. The aim is to work with development banks and governments to ensure that when road corridors are upgraded, the needs of school children are included. For example, it consulted on the RISE project I mentioned earlier. Building the travel patterns and vulnerabilities of children into road design from the project conception phase onwards, Safe Schools Africa is demonstrating that lives can be saved and injuries can be prevented in a highly cost-effective way. And this all begins from a reconception of mobility rights. In a time of climate emergency, sustainable transport must be an investment priority. But light rail and bus rapid transit and new electronic mobility options are only as strong as their weakest link, the journey by pedestrians or cyclists or motorcyclists to the transport hub. So we must not neglect the rights of the poorest or skew funding to shiny hardware without forgetting the basics. Balance the needs and rights, and we begin to find a harmony in road mobility which can set a path to reducing this terrible and avoidable carnage. And with that, Excellency, I would like to thank you and all the distinguished guests again for the honour of speaking to you today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Saul Billingsley, Executive Director, FI Foundation. And Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, just listen to that lecture. And shortly on the heels of that would be the panel discussion. And I'll just go straight on to invite the moderator who would take charge of the discussion and also introduce the discussants. Your Excellency, may I now call on Chief Osita Chidoka, OFR. Chief Osita Chidoka, a former Minister of Aviation and a one-time Corps Marshal of the FRSC, whose tenure witnessed tremendous improvements and achievements in the Corps. Osita Chidoka.
Thank you very much. Your Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, His Excellency Kashim Shettima, the Secretary to Government of the Federation, Senator George Akume. I will be standing on the already established protocol. So the Corps Marshal, Federal Road Safety Corps, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for us to dialogue on the way forward after listening to Saul's lecture. So to join me on this discussion, we have the President of the Court of Appeal, Justice Dombon Mensin, ably represented by Justice Oyewole, the PJ Court of Appeal, Enugu Division. Please join us on the table. The Chief of Defense Staff, General Musa, represented by Major General Yanet, who is here present. Please join us. Thank you. We have the Dr. Bosun. Yes, please sit. Dr. Bosun Tijani, the Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, represented by Engineer Anugorum, Director of Spectrum in the Federal Ministry of Communications. I have our own President of the Nigerian Bar Association, Mazi Afam Osigwe, Director. Yes. Director, please. Yes. Anyone? Yes, you can sit here. Yes, sit at the end. And we have Professor Matthew Adamu, Vice Chancellor, University of Abuja. They are present. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I welcome you to what has become one of Africa's most influential conversations on road safety. Today's lecture by Mr. Paul Billingsley has reminded us that safe mobility is a right and also a responsibility. The challenge before us is how to translate these global frameworks into Nigerian realities, where motorcycles account for nearly half of all road fatalities and where rapid urbanization is reshaping travel patterns. Our panel brings together voices from security, justice, technology, law, and academia. Each sector has a critical role in the safe system approach, and today we ask, how do we make Nigerians' roads safer, smarter, and more secured? And on that note, I want to, before I start the questions, to thank the Corps Marshal for restarting the FRSC annual lecture. This will have been the 17th, but today we're on the 8th, and we hope it will keep progressing yearly. Thank you, Corps Marshal. The FRSC lecture series was designed to present FRSC as a thought leader and a giant in Africa in leading the conversations. We've had former President of Ghana here. We've had distinguished ladies and gentlemen in the past delivering this lecture. But today, we have the privilege of having the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria and the Secretary to Government of the Federation. These are significant events showing the power of the FRSC as an organization, the activity of the Corps Marshal, and more importantly, the administration's ability to look at issues beyond the narrow confines of order, but now taking road safety to the next level. So my first question will go to Justice Domba Mercy. Our first question will be, how can Nigerians' courts strengthen deterrence for traffic offenses and prioritize road safety in justice delivery?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Moderator. Permit me to adopt the existing protocol duly established by the Corps Marshal, Your Excellency the Vice President. Let me also express the apologies of my Lord, the President of the Court of Appeal, for being unable to be personally present here today. She owes road safety in the highest esteem and would have wanted to be here personally, but she's presently participating at the International Symposium on Economic Crimes at the Cambridge University, where she's showcasing the activities of Nigerian judiciary and the Nigerian government in the anti-corruption sector to the whole world. Now to the question. In Nigeria, our system of justice is adversarial, which also means that a lot depends on the case presented before us. But we are not just involved in road safety as judges. We are also members of society. We are parents, we are families, and we are all stakeholders in ensuring that our roads are kept safe. And I believe it was in this direction that my Lord the President of the Court of Appeal established the Kwabda's road safety demands as a way of contributing in a special way to raising awareness on road safety and ensuring that society proceeds in the right direction when it comes to road safety issues. We are looking forward to a Nigeria where we will employ technology, not just in preventing road accidents, but in enforcing safety on our roads. When we employ technology, we are better able to present good cases before the court, not just after accidents had occurred. We want to see more cases of people violating speed limits, because we know what speed can do when it comes to accidents. But we cannot even do this when you don't even have the technology to monitor speed at which vehicles are driving. We want to see a situation whereby what government has done in revolutionizing the insurance sector is brought to bear on activities on our roads. We don't want to see people exchanging fisticuffs. You don't hit my car, you don't on our roads anymore, knowing that once you have that third-party insurance policy, it already gives you certain benefits which your insurance company would come to your aid to do certain things in rectifying whatever damage that had occurred. We want to see a situation where hospitals will be brought into whatever is going on in road accident management, so that people are not left dying on our roads, especially when it comes to activities of first responders. We want to see ambulances well-equipped, stationed at various portions of our roads, able to come to the assistance of accident victims. We want to see smart speed regulation. When you label a road 100 kilometers per hour, that may be okay when the elements are good. But in every road track, when you're talking of heavy rainfall, 100 kilometers per hour becomes suicidal. So quite a number of things we want to see. And we hope.
Thank you very much, my Lord.
Thank you very much.
I like that you've introduced the insurance dimension to road safety, and I will pick on that as we go forward. But from the representative of the Chief of Defense Staff, General Yanet, I just want a brief comment from you about the synergy between law enforcement agencies and road safety, because we see incidents of wrongful use of the road by law enforcement agencies, refusing to respect the rules on the road, and not understanding that road safety is a shared responsibility. Is there means we can integrate further the military and other law enforcement agencies in helping by showing examples of how to use the road?
Thank you for that question. I am Major General H. Janet. I represent the Chief of Defense Staff, who is unavoidably absent due to national engagement. The armed forces of Nigeria view national security beyond the protection of our national integrity. It is viewed as the creation of all the sustenance of conditions that allow people to meet their various needs and necessities of life. National security includes food security, human security, the economic well-being, and our health condition of the nation. It is against this background that the Armed Forces of Nigeria has taken the whole of society approach in national security. The Armed Forces, under the leadership of the CDS, is working with everybody, all security agencies, our farmers, our royal fathers, to ensure the safety in our roads and the security of the nation. these measures is being taken to all our personnel, both the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. The Army cannot do it alone, the Navy cannot do it alone, the Air Force cannot do it alone, so we work with everybody to ensure the security of the nation.
Okay, thank you, General. I like the direction you are going, and because of our time constraints, I will come back to you just to round up. Mazia Famosigwe, the President of the Nigerian Bar Association, a quick one. What role can the legal profession and the bar play in advocating for stronger legislation and public accountability on road safety?
Well, you already...
The microphone, yes.
Hello?
Yes, okay.
I think the first thing to do, like you identified in your intro, is that we must make sure that we contribute to the drafting of laws, effective laws, that don't create ambiguity, that don't create operational or jurisdictional problems. And then we must advocate for the strict enforcement of these laws. Because if we have good laws that are not being enforced, then protection of road users will be left to the whims and caprices of motorists or other persons, operatives who may be on the roads. And then the bar must play a critical role in the enlightenment and education of the people as to their rights and obligations, what is expected of them. And also for those who administer these laws. We must also, as legal professionals, if we want to have a safe road or have safe roads, will also be available to provide legal services in the event of accidents. And we must advocate for proper road infrastructure. Because if you have beautiful laws, if you insist on strict enforcement of these laws, and the roads are not there, the infrastructure that make for proper road use and observance of laws in the roads are not existent, it also creates problems for both the road users. But above all, the bar must also be part of advocacy to ensure that there is responsibility for actions, either by road users or those who administer the laws that regulate safety on our roads.
Thank you very much, Mr. President of the Nigerian Bar Association. And my question next is to Professor Matthew Adamu, the Vice Chancellor. I would like you to just give us insight into what contributions the universities can make in embedding road safety into education, research, and the youth culture.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. Recall that the first co-marshal general of this agency was an academician. Professor Wole Soyinka actually started.
Actually, he was the first chairman.
Chairman of, yes. He started this process because when he was at the University of Ife, the problem of road accidents on the Ibadan-Ife road axis was something of concern, and he decided to start stirring up awareness for government that there's a need for something to be done. The academia is very pivotal in this issue of road safety because we are the fulcrum of creating awareness in terms of education, training, and research that has to do with issue of safety and even on our roads. We know, for instance, yes, government is doing a lot of things in that regard. We have Institute of Transportation at the Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria, that is into research in trying to see how we can locally do a lot of things as far as transportation components are concerned. And, but we need to first, as an educational institution, ensure that from our primary school level, we have to get back to those safety clubs that we used to have. They were very formidable in trying to inculcate early education to our young people to understand that road safety is everybody's business, and if we inculcate that early in our educational system, and to be part of certain curriculum, especially at the GST levels.
Yes.
It will help us to drive this consciousness deliberately about road safety. And in the issue of research and consultancy, universities can actually be involved in some of consultancy that has to do with road designs and other, to bring in expertise, because we have the experts, but government must make deliberate efforts to see how these experts are brought in to bear in process of trying to bring up programs that will be able to make our roads better. Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. This is quite insightful. And I will take the minister now, because I wanted to take him last. How can digital innovation transform road safety, monitoring and enforcement? How can there be this synergy between technology and road safety?
Thank you for having me.
Yes, it's on.
Your Excellency.
You can use the mic.
Okay. Your Excellency, the Vice President, Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Shettima, Kashim Shettima, the Secretary of the Federal Government, am I aligned with the already established protocol? My Honorable Minister sent his apology because he has other national assignments. On the issue of technology, on road management and traffic, it cannot be overemphasized. All along, what we have been doing over time is, can I call it an analog way of managing the road. There are current technologies that the Nigerian government can explore, or do I say the federal road safety. One, we have artificial intelligence. The Honorable Minister has actually come up with a policy on this. We can leverage the artificial intelligence and data, big data analytics. It will give us possibility, if we explore it, to actually determine what is happening on our roads instantly, real time. The recent train derail in Jere, if we have deployed artificial intelligence, the National Railway Corporation would have even noticed that there was vandalization of the red line before then. Then we have technology that can communicate vehicle to vehicles. These vehicle to vehicles and vehicle to infrastructure, they will share information on the network of our roads. If there are portions that are bad and you're applying the road at the first time, you will know from your e-system that this particular portion of the road is very, very bad. And in accordance with the International Telecommunication Union, which our Honorable Minister is the Vice President, the whole spectrum of the federal government of Nigeria is domiciled with the ministry. And the ministry is ready, under the chairmanship of the Honorable Minister, to assign the proper frequencies that can be utilized in the deployment of these technologies.
Thank you, Director. This is interesting. I like this commitment by the Ministry of Communication. So we will bring this to a close, and I will just go one sentence. Tell me, the Bar Association, what do you commit to do for road safety in Nigeria? We just want commitments.
Well, we'll commit to better advocacy for compliance with laws that regulate traffic and road safety.
Thank you
and
very
also
much.
for better road infrastructure and furniture in Nigeria.
Thank you very much. Commitment made. What is the commitment of the Nigerian judiciary? Because our job is to get commitments.
Yes, for us, speedy justice, and to ensure that the interests of the victim are also taken into cognizance. Remembering that old slogan, the pedestrian may be wrong, but he does not deserve the death sentence.
Thank you.
Very much.
And to the military, what is the commitment?
Yeah, we are committed to continue cooperation with the Nigerian road safety.
Yes.
Continue to educate our men to obey all road traffic regulations.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And to the university, what are you committing?
We are committed to ensuring that road safety values are inculcated into our curriculum, especially at the General Studies.
Fantastic. And we reiterate the commitment of the Ministry of Communications.
We, the Ministry of Communication, is highly committed in deploying the latest technology in ensuring road safety, as we can witness
Fantastic.
in the banking sector. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, everybody. And this is very good. We've had discussion, we've had commitments. And like one of my friends used to ask me, he said, between your wife and road safety, who do you love most? And I will not end that debate here because my wife is here and road safety is here. But I just want to say that I'm happy and I am encouraged by the work of the Federal Road Safety. Road safety is a shared responsibility and all of us must commit to do something to make it well. Thank you very much.
Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, please give the discussants and the moderator another round of applause. Thank you so very much. Chief Osita Chidoka moderating. And I must say, when you have little or no time, it takes a lot to be able to get the best from the discussants. Thank you so very much. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, just a quick announcement, and that is immediately after the address by His Excellency, the Vice President, there'll be a photo shoot right here for just a few seconds, just to put the photographers and all those who would be arranging the set on notice. We'll also inform you of those who would be in that photograph. It would be a historic one, but I'll let you know why it will be historic at that time. For now, please join me as I invite His Excellency, the Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Senator Kashim Shettima, GCON, to now deliver his address.
Kindly take your seats, please. The Chairman, House Committee on Federal Road Safety, Honorable Abiodun Derin Adeshida, ably represented by his Deputy Honorable Mansour Musa Jega. Chairman, House Committee on Climate Change and Security, Honorable Kama Nkem Kama, representing Chairman, House Committee on Northeast Development Commission, Honorable Usman Ali Zanna. The card with 9 lives. After the legendary Abdullahi Umar Ganduje, probably the longest serving civil public servant in the current dispensation. He was variously a director of protocol, a permanent secretary, a governor, a senator, a minister, and now the secretary to the government of the Federation. Distinguished Senator George Akume, CON. My colleagues in the Federal Cabinet, Senator Saidu Ahmed Al-Khali and Dr. Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, His Excellency, the Governor of Enugu State, ably represented by the Deputy Governor, Barrister Ifeanyi Osai, President of the Court of Appeal, Honorable Justice Monica Bolnandong Ban Mensem, ably represented by Honorable Justice Olubunmi Oyewole of the Enugu Office of the Federal Court of Appeal. Former Deputy Governor of Kano State, Malam Nasir Yusuf Gauna, the Co-Marshal of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Shehu Mohammed Emenai, and his wife, Dr. Nafisa Shehu Mohammed, former Co-Marshals Generals, General Anthony Haladu Hanania and Chief Osita Chidoka, representatives of the service chiefs, heads of government and paramilitary agencies present, our royal father of the day, Sarkin Zazzau, His Royal Highness Ambassador Ahmed Nuhu Bamali CFR, His Royal Highness the owner of Abuja and Chairman FCT Traditional Council, Alhaji Adamu Baba Yunusa CON, Executive Director, International Federation of the Automobile Foundation, United Kingdom, Mr. Saul Billingsway, and other discussants present here, and my very good friend Josiah Apam Osigwe SAN, President of the NBA, members of the Force Asset of the Rim, our ladies' wives of the co-marshals across the length and breadth of this, our great nation, honored guests, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. At the heart of every enduring nation is a road safety system that upholds the discipline of order. Without such order, what emerges is not only chaos but fatal consequences, but also a steady erosion of productivity across the nation. This is why our nation owes the Federal Road Safety Corps both reverence for your role in sustaining social order and gratitude for your commitment to this noble cause. I am therefore honored to stand before you today as a witness to your place in the architecture of our nation. This annual lecture series, now in its 8th edition, is a forum of accountability and reflection. It offers us an avenue to retrace our steps, measure the distance we have covered, and compare our solutions and results with the best practices from around the world. Over the years, it has showcased refined minds whose insights enrich our quest for safer roads. The theme of this year's edition speaks not only to the FRSC's resolve to keep reinventing itself, but also to its alignment with global standards in road safety management. In this pursuit of modern and effective solutions to our peculiar road safety challenges, the FIA Foundation has been a frontline partner, and its strategic interventions in global road safety have contributed significantly to reducing road traffic crashes and fatalities worldwide. This partnership reminds us that road safety is a global obligation, one that requires collective innovation and resolve. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, this administration has made it a priority to enable critical ministries, departments, and agencies to function to public expectation. In its 37 years of existence, the FRSC has demonstrated the promise, the potential, and the practice of prioritizing safety and securing the lives and property of road users. The federal government, under the able leadership of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, has also shown its commitment to this mission through massive infrastructure development, consistent road maintenance, and the expansion of our highway networks. Yet we cannot deny the reality before us. Nigeria still faces significant road safety challenges, and with recent statistics revealing a troubling record of deaths on our roads. As chairman of the National Road Safety Advisory Council, I am committed to ensuring that the promise of His Excellency, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, to make the vision of the National Road Safety Strategy a reality is never relegated. Strategic engagements and activities such as this serve as our vehicle towards that goal. I commend the leadership of the Federal Road Safety Corps for the vigor and innovation with which you have pursued this course. But let me also add a note of caution. We do not yet have the luxury to celebrate. The road ahead looks long and demanding. Much work still lies before us, and we must grow from both our indigenous solutions and effective collaborations with global partners to achieve our objectives. The duty of keeping our roads safe is not one we can perform in isolation. We must recommit ourselves to implementing the Nigeria Road Safety Strategy. We must ensure that all tiers of government, the private sector, and other stakeholders, including NGOs, are fully engaged in road safety activities. Only through such shared responsibility, can we guarantee sustainable outcomes. This lecture series provides us with a timely platform to forge synergy between the Federal Road Safety Corps and the Nigerian public. Beyond sensitization campaigns, this is an opportunity to demonstrate that the technical and legal interventions we pursue for road safety are not abstract theories, but practical measures designed to save lives. We must not merely brainstorm and learn. We must translate the ideas generated here into tangible actions that will resonate across our highways. On this note, let me once again warmly welcome our distinguished guest lecturer to Nigeria and appreciate all of you who have honored this auspicious occasion with your presence. The federal government eagerly awaits the proceedings of this year's lecture series as we look forward to extracting actionable recommendations that will transform policy formulation and implementation for safety roads in Nigeria and across the West Africa sub-region. Thank you, and may God bless.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. The photo session, which I spoke earlier about, will now take place. The Vice President will be joined by the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Interior Minister Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, and the representative of the President of the Court of Appeal, the guest lecturer, Royal Father of the Day, former Deputy Governor of Kano State, representative of the Chief of Defense Staff. President of the NBA, Mazi Afam Osigwe, please join this shoot quickly. And yes, thank you. Thank you. The photographers, we're done. Your Excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, now the national anthem. Thank you very much, Your Excellencies. That concludes this lecture, the 8th in the series. And as His Excellency takes his leave, we once again belatedly wish him many more years. My name is Cyril Stober, signing off for now. Thank you.